10 Attack on Titan plot holes to know before watching the finale. Attack on Titan might as well be one of the most ambitious stories the anime medium has ever seen, but there are still quite a few times when the author, Hajime Isayama, obviously didn't think things through. Well then, with that said, how about we get on with plot holes? Starting with number 10, the first one we have is Eren's kiss. Is that a bit too vague? Allow me to explain. Remember how at the end of the second season, when Eren punched the Smiling Titan in his human form and the coordinate within him was activated? Well, we didn't know why that happened back then, but later it was revealed that the Smiling Titan was actually his stepmother, Dinah. She was from the royal family, and that's why when Eren came into contact with her, his founding Titan powers were activated. However, then we also have the instance when Eren kisses Historia's hand. But this time, he gets his father's memories of when his father attacked the Rice family, and he also gets memories from the future. He is obviously horrified by what happened and what he will eventually do, but as you must have also noticed, there is something weird about this. If coming into contact with the founding Titan was going to be the trigger that allowed him to access these memories, then why didn't he get them when he punched Dinah? Is it because there had to be something intimate, like a kiss? But then again, he only kissed her hand. What's so intimate about that? Next, we have something odd that happened during the 5th episode of the first season. That's when the Colossal Titan and the Armored Titan appear again 5 years after breaching the walls of Shiganshina. Eren instantly goes for the kill because, of course he does, but then the Colossal Titan just instantly disappears. He releases an insane amount of smoke and boom! Vanishes from existence. The common headcanon here is that he must have burnt all of that Titan mass by releasing so much steam, but it's still weird because it is never explained. Think about it this way. Bertolt used the steam to create a smokescreen while he left the body of the Titan, but the smokescreen only lasted a few seconds. In those few seconds, not only did he escape from his Titan, the Titan's body also disappears. I guess this is one of those instances of Titan shifters doing whatever the plot wants them to do. Which brings us to the next plot hole. In the second part of the 3rd season, when Levi attacks Reiner, quickly slices his nape, and stabs him through the midsection, we're supposed to believe that Reiner just transferred his consciousness from his head to another part of his body? What? Indeed, just like the Colossal Titan disappearance, this is Reiner doing whatever the plot wants him to do. I do not want to spoil the ending because some of you may not have read the manga, but consider it this way. What if every Titan shifter just transfer their consciousness to another part of their body? It comes out of nowhere and is kinda silly, especially considering how it is never brought up again. Remember when Rod Rice transformed into a crippled Titan almost twice the size as that of the Colossal Titan? Well, there are a few unusual things about that transformation. First, we know that in chapter 70 of the manga, Hanji mentioned that as soon as the liquid comes in contact with air, it evaporates, which makes researching it quite difficult. But in Rod Rice's case, it was around long enough for him to crawl toward it and take a lick. Secondly, if one lick is all it takes, why was there so much emphasis on how Levi can only choose one person to turn them into a Titan shifter? I know circumstances only allowed for one, but if they had planned ahead, they could have started with the intention of turning more people into Titan shifters? I don't know, it feels like the rules are never permanent. The whole thing with Historia being pregnant and everything was being built up as a very interesting plotline, but then it just shrank into irrelevance? After all that buildup, it was revealed that the baby's father is just a random farmer. There is no other way to go about it. The author had more plans, but then he dropped them in favor of the Eren Times Mikasa ship. At best, it's just a badly written plot device to keep Historia relevant. Nothing about the pregnancy makes sense. Not even the idea that they wouldn't feed her to Zeke just because she is pregnant? They 100% would. The author clearly started this mystery with different intentions, but then blatantly failed to conclude it. Rest in peace to all the theories that were born after this mystery was introduced. We know that Reiner and the others were sent to the Paradise for the purpose of finding and retrieving the founding Titan, right? Well, when Reiner reveals himself to be Armored Titan and Bertolt to be the Colossal Titan, he states that their primary goal was to wipe out humanity inside the walls, even though their goal was actually capturing the founding Titan. It had nothing to do with wiping out all of humanity inside the walls. Marley may very well have planned an eventual invasion, but the primary goal of the 4 warriors who were sent to Paradise was capturing the founding Titan and nothing more. Was Eren's first transformation too convenient? If Eren was able to transform into a Titan after getting eaten, why couldn't Marcel or Bertolt do the same? This one can be easily rationalized, but let's also consider the fact that Titans barely ever chew. When Eren was inside the Santa Claus Titan's stomach, there was another woman there, still alive, which means that Titans don't know about chewing. Plus, even though Eren's arm and leg were bitten off, and we know that Titan shifters can't transform when they are too injured, he was still able to transform into a Titan from inside the Santa Claus Titan's stomach? If he was able to do it, there is no reason to believe that Marcel or Bertolt couldn't do the same. Why did it take Eren 5 years to transform? You know what? Eren had the power to transform into a Titan since before his mom was eaten by the Smiling Titan, and yet we're supposed to believe that he never, not once, figured out anything unusual? It's not just about transforming into a Titan either. It's that he never noticed his healing ability either. In those 5 years, Eren was continuously training and hurting himself. He should have noticed his healing ability and found out about the Titan powers, one way or the other. It was impossible for Eren to trample 80% of humanity. As you guys know, Eren wiped out 80% of all humanity beyond the walls. This simply isn't possible, because we know that the rumbling only lasted a few days. The colossal Titans were so slow, they couldn't even catch up to a train that was leaving from the city they were trampling, and yet they somehow managed to walk over most of the world in just a matter of days? Nonsense! Even if Paradise Island is about as large as Australia, it still makes no sense. But we already know that the Paradise Island is based on Madagascar, which is about 13 times smaller than Australia. Geography is everything, guys, but here, it was thrown into irrelevance. We know that the founder of Titans, Ymir Fritz, had 3 daughters with Fritz. When she died, the 3 of them ate parts of her body and attained her Titan powers. Now we know all of the Eldians are Ymir's descendants, but we also know that she only had 3 daughters with King Fritz. Doesn't that mean that all of the descendants should have the royal blood? Why does a royal family exist in that case? If someone has Ymir's blood, they obviously also have King Fritz's blood, even when you consider inbreeding and everything. This just gets weirder and weirder the more you think about it. On one hand, only a few of the Eldians have royal blood, but on the other hand, we know that every Eldian is a direct descendant of Ymir. What do you guys think? Share your wildest headcanons about each of these alleged plot holes. Let's try to understand the story better before the finale of the final Attack on Titan anime installment is released.